Child of light, we love you and bless you. We see the Spirit of God within you, guiding, protecting, and prospering you always. And so it is, so it is. Do we have the church affirmation on PowerPoint? No. Okay. All right. It's in the bulletin, but we'll just know it, we'll affirm it. Things are going really well for us. And I have the yellow submarine here because we're clearing out the stuff in the closets, and this must have been from a play before I was here. But when we think about selling our building and going to a wonderful new location, I've been kind of using the affirmation that we are on a sea of opportunity. We're on a sea of, there's a sea of opportunity. We're not immersed under it, but we are in a sea of, there's a whole wide new world open to Unity of Auburn, and where we'll show up to express. So we're going to be selling the building and moving to a new location that has windows, I hope, and light, and we'll all go there together, and we'll be together, and we'll be happy, and it'll be wonderful. So don't let any dark thoughts, negative thoughts, or any fearful thoughts come in. We are sailing on a sea of opportunity, right? And whatever we make it to be with our words and our prayers is what it's going to be. So it's a new opportunity, it's exciting, it's a wonderful place, and we are grateful for it. We have an affirmation in your bulletin that you can speak in the quiet of your own prayer time for the perfect sale of the church. And we talk to the building because it has energy in it, and we thank it for sheltering us and providing us with a wonderful place to worship all these years. And we let it know that it needs to release us so we can go to our new place and to open itself. A new owner is coming for you that's going to love you and probably even remodel and upgrade a lot of you. And so it's like having a facelift, you know? So it'll be good. It'll be good in every way. All right, so today's message, I always start with a little humor. This is a good one. I like this one. You'll relate to this. After creating heaven and earth, God created Adam and Eve. And the first thing he said was, don't, which I don't think that would be true, but don't what? Adam replied. Don't eat the forbidden fruit, God said. Forbidden fruit? We have forbidden fruit? Hey, Eve, we've got forbidden fruit. No way, yes, way. Do not eat the fruit, God commanded. Why not? Said Adam. How come? Excuse me. Because I'm your father and I said so, God replied. A few minutes later, God saw Adam and Eve eating the apple, and he was angry. And he said, didn't I tell you not to eat the fruit? Uh-huh, Adam replied. Then why did you? Said the father. I don't know, said Eve. She started it, Adam said. Did not, did too, did not, you did too. Then God decided on Adam and Eve's punishment, that they should have children of their own. Cute, huh? Pretty good this morning. All right. So my message this morning, we did the Fillmores through almost all of August, and Unity was really founded on Myrtle Fillmore's healing. But my message today, Healing the Cosmic Intelligence That Built the Body. And that's from the book by Frederick Bales, Your Mind Can Heal You. If you haven't read it, order it on Amazon. It's fabulous, fabulous work of study. And I want to share some of it with you today. How he talks about how healing is made possible. And he gives us a process to interact with divine intelligence to restore life and health to our body. This thing's going to bother me now here. Wait a minute. Catching it out of the corner of my eye. Well, we'll just know it's all in divine order. Okay. In understanding how healing is made possible, he says we start with first the law of healing, which in his book, Your Mind Can Heal You, he shares, healing takes place when we remove the cause of the illness. Sounds true, doesn't it? Healing takes place when we remove the cause of the illness. And the cause of the illness has usually been looked for in the body, somewhere in your body. You have an ache or a pain or a tumor or broken something or whatever. He said, but illness is the invisible thought pattern. I have a slide for this. Illness is the invisible thought pattern that has formed itself into a visible condition in your body. You know, and that's one that you really have to kind of work with in your own personal life and experience. You know, a few weeks ago I sprained my foot. And so if I'm thinking, what kind of sprained thought did I have in my mind? What was restricting the flow of me walking freely, moving forward in my life? What was, you know, where was there hesitation in my step or a break in my step? And you can kind of ask yourself those kinds of questions when something shows up in your body. What's the thought pattern that's formed itself into an expression in my body? He says the real cause of illness can be found in, and then he lists a bunch of stuff: tangled emotions, fears, anxieties, jealousies, envies, frustration, and confusion. The real cause of illness can be found in childhood impressions and teachings. Don't run through that little puddle and get your feet wet, you'll catch a cold, right? That kind of stuff that we take on in consciousness. Conversations with friends and relatives that have affected us. Fear instilled by TV ads. Oh, you have this symptom and that symptom and that symptom. And it plays over and over and over when you watch your favorite programming, Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or whatever. The ads that run in between, you're there and you're watching them and you're relaxed and you're taking on that message. The real cause of illness can be found in health warnings from the government of possible impending doom, observation of illness in friends. When you see you go to, I can remember the day I looked at my mother and all of a sudden I saw that she was older. She was no longer just my mom. She was an aging, elderly woman. I remember that. I was thinking, I wonder when I'm going to look like that for Ashley, my niece. One day she'll look at me and she's going to, you just don't look the same. Well, anyway, observation of illness in friends. You know, somebody else has something wrong with them, and then you start thinking, well, could that be happening? Somebody has skin cancer because they've spent a lot of time in the sun, and you think, oh, could that spot be skin cancer? You start comparing your life and body with the body that you're observing. Real cause of illness can be found in searching for symptoms on Dr. Google. You know, oh, I've got this pain, I'm going to Google, what is this? And now with ChatGPT, it'll tell you everything more than you ever wanted to know about that little owie on the end of your finger. The net effect, he says, is all of this is to build up in our collective consciousness a great body of fear thought. You know, oh, what is it? What is that? What is this? What is this bump? What is this bruise? What is this cut? This does not mean that psychological treatment is the only means of healing, nor does it mean, and this is really important, probably the most important statement I'll make today, especially with the teachings of unity. It doesn't mean that we can imagine we are sick and then imagine we get well. How about that? If your mind can heal you and you're building up collective thought, and he's saying that you can't imagine, we imagine, it doesn't mean that we imagine we are sick and then we imagine we can get well. He says to get well, we want to understand two things. We must see how our mental states contribute to our illness. What was I thinking? What in my consciousness drew this to me? And it's not a beating yourself up. It's just opening your awareness to what your thought pattern has been that's creating something and showing up in your body. At the risk of offending everybody in the room and having you leave and never come back again, I'm thinking about Donald Trump's words of retribution and revenge and retaliation, and I don't know, and all those lies, and I don't know how that mindset will not show up in his body. And it's showing up now with the puffed up in his, they have a thing on him that circulates the blood in his legs and the puffiness in his hand. It's beginning to show up in his body. His consciousness is beginning to show up in his body. So we have to see how our mental states contribute to an illness, and then he says we have to learn how to erase the destructive thought pattern causing the illness. That's why it's like, you know, you get, what in my consciousness has drawn this to me? And it's not self-persecution, it's an exploration of where's my thinking off here about how I'm, the health of my body. I was visiting a friend in Texarkana, Texas, And a young woman who's a friend of hers stopped by, and sadly, I think she came as a respite because she just had a fight with her boyfriend, and he beat her up pretty badly. She came in and she was in, that state of whatever you would be after someone had physically abused you. And she sat down with us, and I was there with Miss Mary Wilson, who taught kindergarten in Texarkana, Texas for 50 years, and her boyfriend, Dr. Dildy, who was a medical doctor, and myself. And we sat there with this young woman, kind of in a little prayer circle, creating an environment of safety and peace that she could step into and kind of release what had just happened to her. And she had a long history of back trouble, trouble with her spine. She was diagnosed with their spine was deteriorating, and eventually she would lose her ability to stand or walk. And her boyfriend knew this, so it seemed that he would always grab her by the back of the neck and throw her around to aggravate the condition. My friend's husband, who was a medical doctor, as we sat there in the living room and formed a prayer circle, he asked her to share about the pain in her neck. And I found in my own spiritual work or counseling that if we listen carefully to a person's words, they will often reveal the source or the inner emotional mental pattern that's sourcing their problem or their illness or their lack of prosperity or whatever. It's in your words because it's in your thought pattern and you're forming it in your words. And the doctor said that it takes about 10 years to get to the stage of deterioration that her spine was in, and that the x-rays confirmed. And he asked how long she had this back pain, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. She said she first noticed it when her daughter was born. And I said, well, tell me about that. Tell me about your daughter. Oh, I'm not raising her. You're not? No, my mother has her. I was very young when I had her, and my mom took my daughter and said I was too irresponsible and wild to raise a child. And so she's living with my mother. She said I wasn't fit to be a mother. And I said, do you have her now? She said, I only see her occasionally. And I said, well, how do you feel about that? She said, I wanted her then and I want her now. Then she said, but I don't have the courage to stand up to my mother. I feel spineless. Those were her words. And I said, what did you just say? Did you hear what you just said? She said, no, I don't have the courage to stand up to my mother. I feel spineless. Spineless. And it was one of those moments of revelation when all through the room went this wave of recognition and realization that her thought pattern of being spineless was showing up in her body. Now, it's not usually that simple or that direct. Illness comes never to punish, but only to teach you how to live more fully, more vibrantly in everything. So it's an exploration in your own mind about where am I off here and where can I be more centered in the truth of my Christ spirit, right? So she said, I said, how long have you had this back trouble? And she said, 10 years now. And I said, how old is your daughter? And she said, 10. 10. So she had a triggering event that gave her a pattern of spinelessness, and she was continuing to live in a consciousness of not being able to stand up for her life, for herself, not to her mother, not to her boyfriend, not to the men she dated, not on her job, not anything. So her mind went to work to carry it out literally, dissolving her spine. But in that moment of recognition, when we were all sitting there, the room was just flooded with spirit. And we could feel that she had an opportunity to take on a new courage. She sat up and she said, I think I've just experienced a miracle. I think I've just experienced a miracle here. She was just, her breath, everything in her was in that full realization of a shift in her body and in her thinking. And she said out loud, I feel like I've had a miracle healing. And she could feel herself physically shift. The healing took place in this prayer-filled room, and it was palpable for all of us. All four of us felt that we were swept up into this flow of healing life. You could feel it in your own body. When there's a group healing like that, it moves through the whole room. And if you're aware at all, it kind of passes through. You sense it. You sense it. So Dr. Bales said, wait a minute, I don't know what the final outcome was for the woman, because I was just there for a long weekend with my friend, but I heard she did move out of the abusive relationship and was having conversations with her mother about beginning to take her daughter back and raise her on her own. Dr. Bales says in his work, Your Mind Can Heal You, in the truest sense, it's incorrect to say that illness is caused by the mind. The distorted physical form that we call illness is a distorted thought form in a visible state. So my sprained foot is a visible thought form in a, that we call illness is a distorted thought form in a visible state. There was something, I don't want to condemn my foot here this morning, but bless my foot, I bless my foot. But there was some kind of strain in my thinking. I was strained about something in my thinking, and it showed up in my body, right? He says, illness is some distorted idea that has assumed dominance in your mind. Dominance, and it can be something as simple as you feel overwhelmed. Maybe I felt overwhelmed about the selling the building and all the stuff that has to be done, and I felt strained by all of that, and it showed up in my body. If we say we're spineless and we think that thought over and over, whether we're conscious of it or not, our subconscious mind will go to work to carry it out, to carry out that pattern in our body. If you say, I can't see well to drive at night, if you say I'm getting older and I can't move like I used to, if you say the cancer is spreading, and you think, well, I don't want to say that, but it's spreading, and I don't want to think it, but you think it, you're feeding your thought patterns, and you're directing your subconscious mind to produce that result in your body. So, the truth about us, every one of us here today, is that we have healing power within us. And our healing power is quietly at work within us at all times. Right now, as you sit there, it's repairing your cells, it is carrying off waste out of your body, it's nourishing your tissues, and it's healing any wound you may have, or any sprain you may have, or anything that's going on in your body. It's the pattern of our creation for life to sustain us and work to keep us healthy and whole 24/7. 24/7. The power of healing is a natural part of you, 24 hours a day, and it's supervising all the fantastically complicated operations and systems in your body. Christ's Spirit is doing that. In a single cell, I love his words, in a single cell, the super scientist in you, effortlessly performs functions that the world's most accomplished chemists cannot duplicate. What's going on in your body right now is miraculous. That you're breathing in and your lungs are processing that air, exhaling out any toxins, and it's just miraculous. It is much of the healing power is carried on through the automatic functions of your subconscious mind. So your mind is found in every cell of your body. Similar ideas gather themselves together and become thought centers. These centers settle in various parts of your body, affecting you according to their positive or negative nature. That's Catherine Ponder. Then she goes on to say, every cell thinks. Every cell is filled with life, with light, with intelligence and substance, which form an atomic structure. Our thoughts move easily in and through the body to shape it, to build it, to tear it up, or tear it down, according to our thinking. That puts a lot of responsibility on us, doesn't it? So when you get in your Barca lounger and just relax, just give thanks that your body's whole and perfect. I mean, we don't have to do all this analysis around it, but there is a super scientist in your body the infinite intelligence of the Christ Spirit, directing and harmonizing and performing everything that keeps you healthy and alive. And when something shows up that's not right in some way, instead of, uh-oh, just return to that idea. I am whole, holy, harmonious, perfect. The mind of Christ, the Spirit of Christ is in my body, healing and harmonizing me 24/7. Since our body is biased toward health instead of illness, the body tries often and is able to throw off our negative thinking for a long time. Now, why is that so? Again, Ms. Ponder says, next slide, the reason is, since the body is designed to produce life and health, the body is much slower to record negative thoughts than good thoughts. It's designed to think life, be life, have life. And so it's slower when you bombard it with something negative. Oh, I feel so tired today. Oh, I just have such a problem driving at night. All of that. You can't do it. True confession, I went to renew my driver's license this week, which was my birthday, and I had to take a vision test. I didn't have to take the written test, the academic test, but I had to take the vision test. And I had surgery on my eye last May, and I have an appointment with my ophthalmologist in October to get my prescription updated, right? So I'm going to get my vision test with my old prescription and my new eye kind of at cross purposes. So I thought, I know the power of praise and thanksgiving. So I walked up to the guy that was going to check me in, and he had on this beautiful blue shirt. I said, oh, I love your blue shirt. That blue shirt looks so good with your eyes. You look very attractive today. And I goes, okay. So then he does whatever he needs to do, and he says, okay, read line 1 up behind me on that chart. And I read it, but evidently what I read wasn't what was on the chart, He says, how about line 2? Same thing, nothing. So he says, let me walk you down here and give you a vision test. So I walk down to the end of the thing, and you put your face in that thing, and he pulls up some letters and says, what about line 1? And I have what do you call it, progressive lenses, So I brought those glasses just in case. And so I'm in the thing going like this, trying to get focus on the line, praying the whole time, And I said, what happens if I don't pass this vision test? He says, we give you a 30-day extension. I said, I can't get to my ophthalmologist till October. We just give you another 30-day extension. So that kind of relaxed me. And I went, okay, and I read the lines. Evidently, I passed. Yay. So I passed, but how did I get off on that? Since our body is biased toward health instead of illness, it tries and is often able to throw off our negative thinking for a long time. The reason is, since the body is designed to produce life and health, it's much slower in recording thoughts of negativity than those of good. In fact, one healthy thought persistently expressed can nullify many, many unhealthy thoughts. So, the next slide says, it's our habitual negative thoughts, deep hates, secret resentments, and strong prejudices that play havoc with our health. Negative emotions of long standing must be cleared out. If you got a resentment about something that happened to you in high school, or a divorce, you had a divorce and you still got negative bitterness about your ex, you have to clear those things out, or they're going to show up somewhere in your body someday. They're potentially. They have to be cleared out. It is the negative emotions of long standing that must be cleared out of our consciousness and subconscious levels of mind in order to relieve serious health problems. Dr. Bale says, what you fear, you multiply. What you build up and keep alive, the diseased appearance, you build up and keep alive the diseased appearance by feeding it with the substance of your negative, fearful thoughts. So he also says in this next slide, pay attention to this one, there's no healing power found in describing your illness. Illness can exist only so long as you give it your consent, I just have to tell you, when I went to the doctor, they did this test, and then I said, I don't need that test because I know blah, 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 and you're describing this long, drawn-out thing that's going on with your body. All of that conversation is registering in your mind and in your subconscious mind. And I had dinner with a friend last night, and at the risk of sounding indelicate, he's telling me all about his latest prostate test and how he knows it's fine, and he gets an infection. If he takes some antibiotics, it goes away. The doctor said, no, I want the test. He said, I don't need it. It's the argument he was having with the physician over this, getting tested on this. And I thought, all that conversation around all of that isn't helping the condition. No healing power found in describing your illness. So what do we want to do? We want to affirm divine life is moving in and through your body now, and ask it to reveal anything in your thought pattern that needs to be healed. Heal that which reveal that which needs to be revealed. Heal that which needs to be healed, or reveal that which needs to be reveal that which needs to be revealed, so that I can heal that which needs to be healed. Right? Reveal and heal. Reveal and heal. Divine life moving in and through me now reveals anything in my thought pattern that needs to be healed. I redirect my thoughts to wholeness and life, and I am restored to perfect health. This is the way to handle anything that's going on in your body. You just stand and claim it and declare it. Catherine Ponder was really good about walking when she made her affirmations, and she would just declare them back and forth with very declarative statements. Bold statements. Divine life moving in and through me now reveals anything in my thought pattern that needs to be healed. I redirect my thoughts to wholeness and life, and I am restored to perfect health. And then stand still for a moment like Charles Fillmore did. Go into the silence and just listen. And your body will talk to you. The Christ Spirit within you, your intuition will tell you where something is out of balance, or what you can, you might just get a hunch to start walking 20 minutes in the morning. Whatever it is, it will be revealed. The laws of mind and spirit are so much stronger they can be used to neutralize and even reverse the laws of the physical world when necessary. Catherine Ponder shares, she always has a lot of examples in her book. She shares in her book, Dynamic Laws for Healing, an example of a woman. Tell me if this hasn't happened to you. A woman who worked in an office was suffering from colds and flus, and entertainment. No, that's not it. It was a businessman who attended a lecture, and he was sitting next to a woman, and they were sitting in a draft. And the whole time through the presentation, she's saying, I can't sit in this draft, I'll catch a cold, my sinuses, I'm going to start coughing, I know I'm going to catch a cold. And he'd been in the beginning of learning to affirm his own health and life, and so he said sitting near him was a lady who kept complaining that the room was too cold and that she would get a sore throat. She fed this idea to her body. It responded by producing a scratchy throat for her. The businessman would not accept this idea, and though in the past he'd suffered from that belief, the same symptoms under similar conditions, having learned that he could release healing power through his thoughts, he began silently decreeing, I am divine intelligence. Every part of my body is filled with divine intelligence. I am whole, well, harmonious, through and through, and he remained well. Haven't you sat in a draft in a meeting and you couldn't get away from it, and you didn't have a sweater to cover up, and what are you thinking? Oh, this is not going to be good, this is not going to be good. But this is a place where you can reveal your thoughts and heal your own thoughts. Experiments have shown that telling a lie involves real work for your body. Your metabolism, your pulse rate, your blood pressure, and your respiration speed up when you tell a lie, and your eyes tend to get shifty. This is how false thinking affects the body. Think about all the current misinformation floating around in our nation. And it's affecting the pulse rate of our nation, isn't it? The blood pressure and the respiration, everything, the health of our nation is changing, even at the highest institute. Things are cattywampus right now. When the bad feeling is removed, The diseased appearance starves for lack of attention and nourishment. It has to fade away because it has nothing to sustain it. When the bad feeling is removed, the diseased appearance starves for lack of attention and nourishment. It has to fade away because it has nothing to sustain it. You're not feeding it with your thoughts. You're not, you just let, what is that to thee? Follow thou me, Jesus said. You cannot give it any power. And it's a challenge because you have symptoms, you have pain, you have evidence in the physical matter of your body that something is out of harmony. But that's not where you address it out here. You address it in here, claiming and affirming your health and your life. To every suggestion of illness, boldly suggest there is no illness. To talk of illness, description of disease, dangers and problems, say, this illness has no power over the ultimate power of God within me. Only good shall come to me and from me. Now, I love it that in unity we don't deny that you have a cancerous tumor. We don't deny that you have a broken leg. What we deny is that that physical symptom has any ultimate power over the power of the Christ Spirit within you to heal you, to restore your body, right? She also says, this is our friend, Your Mind Can Heal You, Dr. Bales. This illness has no power over the ultimate power of God within me. Only good shall come to me and from me. Then he says, don't feel obligated to join in conversations that dwell on the negative side of life. Oh, it's flu season. Oh, did you hear what they're changing of the vaccine? Oh, did you blah, 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 blah. Silence is better than an assent to appearances. He says, cease from petty statements about yourself or others. Stop referring to your faults and have a good word for yourself or others, or keep quiet. Right? So, as we close this morning, let's work with that affirmation. I think I have it on the last slide. Let's read through this so we can begin assimilating these kinds of ideas into our body. Your body can hear you. You let it know you're speaking to it right now. And let's read this together. Divine life moving in and through me now reveals anything in my thought pattern that needs to be healed. I redirect my thoughts to wholeness and life. I am restored to perfect health. And just feel that. I am restored to perfect health. Let that be so. All right, let's take that into a time of meditation and prayer. Our daily word today was so perfect on healing. And our friend who said God's word is God's medicine. So take a cleansing breath in. You've asked your body to reveal anything in you that is a misthought, any misinformation that's circulating in your thought process. You've asked it to show itself. So that in its place, you can put correct information, truth, the truth of who you are and whose you are, the truth that you are the Christ of God, that the Spirit of Christ within you is all-powerful, the truth that you connect with this power and presence in prayer, when you're lifted up into a higher thought realm. And so in these few moments of silence, let's follow the word, the proverb. My son, attend to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to all your flesh. And this gentleman goes on to say, God's word is God's medicine. All we have to do is we need to learn how to take God's medicine in order to get it to work for us. And we take that medicine by imbibing of words of life, thoughts of life, and health, and truth. So ask your body to pay attention now as you say, I am a child of God, created in the image and likeness of life, health, love, power, strength. The truth of my being is wholeness in every part of my body, life in every part of my body. I radiate with the vibration of life. And that vibration flows in and through me and circulates in my bloodstream, which circulates in my body, circulates in the thoughts of my mind, circulates through the feelings in my heart. And that radiation is life, wholeness, love, peace. So just as our daily word suggested, today we commit to using words that affirm our divinity, words that affirm our beauty, words that affirm our health and wholeness. And you let those words fall gently on your heart, acknowledging that they are the truth about you. And so take a moment and see maybe a white golden light, the light of the Christ Spirit, whatever color you like, pink, healing, purple, restoring, blue for peace and harmony. Let that light move in through the top of your head, over your forehead, your face, your jaw, down through your neck, your chest, your abdomen, your lower body, down your thighs, over your knees, your shins, your ankles, your feet. See that light circulate around under your feet and up the backs of your legs, over your bottom, up your back, your spine, your shoulders, your shoulder blades, the back of your neck, the back of your head, and back to the top of your head. And then like one of those neon light signs that you see that circulate round and round and round with a neon light. Just see that light of Christ, that light of the Christ Spirit circulating all around your body. In the extremities of your arms and legs, your fingers, your toes. Let every part of you be bathed in spirit. From the inside out. I speak words of love and truth to my body. I speak words of love and truth to my body. Together, I speak words of love and truth to my body. And your body can hear you. So today, in these few moments, whatever might be out of harmony with the perfection of the Christ Spirit within you, you let the elixir of that light and life move into that part of your body or that thought in your mind, that pattern, that old resentment, that old bitterness, that old hurt. And let it be cleansed and cleared out of you, never to show up again. So that today you walk forward in new health, in a new vibrancy of health. The light within me creates health and harmony. I accept it, I receive it, I allow it, I believe it, I am it. And as always, we want to turn our thoughts to our loved ones and others in our life for whom we are praying. All the names in our prayer chest, those who have asked for prayer from this ministry. And we see that same light of spirit, the light of the Christ Spirit, white and golden with glitter, circulating in and through every part of their body, their mind, their life, their heart, their feelings, the circumstances of their lives, the finances of their lives, the family affairs of their lives. All of it being infused with the Christ Spirit of life, love, strength, power. And for others, we say, you are blessed by the light of Spirit. For others, together, you are blessed by the light of Spirit. Attend to my words, incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not depart from your eyes, keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to all the flesh. And so it is. Together we all say, Amen.